the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Friday morning. It is Friday, right? Glad that you joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Brett and Randy here to start your Friday. Faith will jump in here in just a little bit. We got a ton to talk about. We'll be on location today at lunch at Lake Martin Pizza. So make sure you come see us down in Davil if you want to at lunch. We'll buy you lunch, the first five. And I'm not buying you a bunch of pizzas, okay? I'm buying you the lunch special, okay? The first five. And it's worked the last 3 times, Randy. People taking us up on it, man. They'll drive to come get some free food. Hey, look, we're here for it. We're glad to do it.
Let me jump in. You know, Brett and I were talking before the show, and you're always dealing with something. And so I'm going to make let me throw a little joke at you that Terry and I were talking about this week. So she's running down credit card statements because our credit cards got hacked again. And Lord help us, in this world we live in, it's a nightmare. I mean, we deal with probably 3 or 4 times a year where something gets hacked or fraud needs to be investigated. And I won't go into specifics, but I'm going back to your credit card purchases the last time you were at Lake Martin Pizza. So we went through about 20 different purchases that were all hack fraud purchases. And then we get down to like 4 or 5 Lake Martin Pizza things. And I said, that's the best. That's the only money we spent that was good money right there. And that was Brett buying lunch for some people to show up during an Auburn Blitz show. So
right
there's the Lake Martin Pizza and the credit card deal. And he'll happily swipe that card again today for it not to be some fraudulent charge.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm here for it. I'll buy people 2 slices of pizza and a drink. You know, five of you, and we appreciate you guys doing that. So yeah, that's actually legit. So all right, Alex Golesh speaking at the Senior Bowl. Talk about that a lot. Finally talking. You hadn't heard a lot from Alex Golesh because he ain't been here very long, and you know it's been a whirlwind. You know, with signing day, he's had his press conference, and we've had access to him a couple of times, and then really since all of the portal has gone on. This is the first time really any media's had a chance to talk to him and ask him some questions. Pointing fingers. Seems now we are in the season of pointing fingers. Everybody accusing everybody of tampering and doing nefarious things and trying to steal. Everybody is doing it. And I think Alex Golesh is I guess his take on it would be a lack for better terms. I like his take. I think it's pretty genuine. And changing personality and mindset. I think you're already seeing it. I think you're already seeing it with a guy now. It's Golesh. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on as well. But you know, I've said this a million times, Randy, and I know you felt the same way. We needed a change at the top, not just in a coach, but in a way they approach things and the way they demand things. And I don't know what Alex Golesh is going to do while he's at Auburn. He may stink it up like everybody else has. I don't think he will. I think his mindset is not going to allow him to do that. But I do want to talk about that a little bit later on as well. But first things first, Alex Golesh at the Senior Bowl and some of the things that he had to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about the locker room. There's a lot of great quotes he had on this thing. He talked to the media for about 12 or 13 minutes, which is, you know, it's a pretty good time because it was all questions. And, you know, he was talking about the locker room and somebody asked him about the players he brought with him and how that meshes and what do you expect? And I thought he said, you know, first of all, the locker room controls the narrative of your program. And he thinks that, you know, the guys that stayed at Auburn stayed because they love Auburn and they want to be there, and they were able to work things out because he said it was a re-recruiting process because they didn't know him either. You know, so it's like a whole nother re-recruiting thing. But he said, what I do when you bring guys in that have been with you, he said they can walk in and they can tell the guys that chose to stay there and say, I don't know how it was here, you know, before we got here, but let me tell you why we followed this guy here. And let me tell you what he brings and this staff brings to the table that'll give them confidence. And he feels like that meshing, together is what will determine how successful they are this year. And I think he's right.
Well, I think that maybe even more so in football than some other sports, because you have so many players, Brett, that the overall culture that's built within a locker room, even with the guys that are backups, is really key. Because you can take a basketball program, and I'll kind of randomly pop around in some different thoughts right now. You watch Auburn with basketball right now, Brett. We got 3 guys that are older, that are transfers in that I think are taking a leadership role now, and I think it's really working out well for Auburn. And Keyshawn Murphy, Keyshawn Hall, and KO. You watch the demeanor and the emotional way that they carry themselves out there on the court, and I don't think you have a choice. But, Brett, when you're in a football locker room and now you've got 105 players on the roster and they're serving different roles, 3 guys can't be all. It has to be an overall process-driven thought process on how you communicate things and player-driven leadership. And that all starts from the top. And unfortunately for us, in the last couple of coaches that we've chosen, let's just say that it's been a lot more talk than actual show with what they're doing. And I'm going somewhere with the comments by Jeremiah Wright and Kieran Crawford yesterday. I want to go into that because I thought I took more from what Jeremiah Wright said yesterday than anything that was said during the Senior Bowl. But my point is, you can say a lot of things. Brett and I've said this about high school coaches. You've got to really, really watch those guys that are really more public speakers than they are actual on the field. I'm going to show you how to do things. No, they're really great at speaking leadership, talking culture. But when you watch the way that what they do personally, it doesn't match what they're telling you should do. It's completely opposite of what they're preaching to you. And a 17, 18 to a 22, 23-year-old man, woman, I don't care who you are, is smart enough at that age to say, you're telling me all this, but you're not showing up here in this complex and working nowhere near as hard as that coach that's in my room with me. And if that's the case, I'm losing respect for you. And we heard that personally about this previous staff. And personally about the leader of this previous
and we
staff.
saw it too, Randy. Like, look, that the thing is that we saw it and we heard it, and everybody, there were some people out there that wanted to try to go, well, that's been, y'all are being a little bit too harsh. And look, your eyeballs tell you a lot more than your ears a lot of times. I mean, because again, anybody can say the right things and talk a good game. But what does your eyes tell you? Are your eyes matching what the voice is saying? And I'm sorry, man. Like, I know that's in the past. We're not going to dwell on that. But kids don't miss that either. Like, that's the thing. You ask somebody to do something, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But you're not showing that they're doing it or you're doing it yourself. Makes go, hey, man, this guy's a hypocrite, or you know, he ain't really behind what he's saying, and it's all about show, and it's all about, what the perception is. And that's why you didn't have a lot to dig deep to. It was a very shallow deal for Freeze and some of those guys.
Well, it's really hard to hold others accountable when they watch you and you're not holding yourself accountable when you're in a leadership role. And I am going, like, the point I'm making about Golesh here is, let's go to Jeremiah Wright's comments yesterday.
Yep.
He goes down there, he takes the time to go to the Senior Bowl to support Jeremiah Wright and Kieran Crawford. He didn't coach them, but they're wearing the brand and that Auburn logo out on the practice field to represent the school that he's the leader of now in the football program.
Right.
And he spoke to them about that. And he made certain to tell Jeremiah Wright, which, by the way, in today's day and age, there's not a lot of kids that grew up 30, 45 miles away from Auburn University that pick that school and then stay there the whole time. You know what I'm saying, Brad?
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremiah Wright grew up in Selma, Alabama.
We called him.
I saw him in high school.
Yep.
He decides to come to Auburn. He doesn't bounce all over the country to different places. He stuck with it.
And he bounced over from defense to offense to
All
defense
over
to
the place.
offense. He was the perfect example of, hey, man, I'll do whatever y'all need me to do.
So he is the epitome of someone that you would consider an Auburn guy.
Yep.
And Golesh, if he does his homework, which I've got every expectation he is, knows that. And he makes a point to go and say, you're welcome back anytime. Not only are you welcome back anytime, I want you back. And I want you to feel like that I, being my first year here, know that you that chose this university and you blood, sweat, and tears put out there for this university deserve to be back whenever you want and part of the program. Now, you can't make everybody happy as an administration and a coaching staff. But I tell you what, that first response that you read from Jeremiah Wright on it, I think it's the way that a lot of these ex-players are going to take that. If you got a coach that really means it. Now, you can't just say it. Every coach will say things. You know, it's almost like you're taught how to get up there and give the culture spill and give the leadership spill. Man, my radar is through the roof on those individuals now. But I'm really hopeful that Golesh at least feels like a guy that it's not just necessarily talk, that there's going to be some substance behind it, Brett. And if we get that at Auburn, first off, we deserve that at Auburn. What we're getting in Auburn basketball is what Auburn deserves. We're an unbelievable fan base, a passionate fan base. We know hard work. We preach it in our motto. And we expect our coaches to kind of carry themselves the same way. And all the coaches that we have that we've respected in mine in your life, and by the way, we're closing up on 50, so we've been around long enough to say this has been a long time. A lot of Auburn sports I've watched. The ones I respect live that, and that's who they are. It's the reason I'm so thrilled about this basketball program, man. We develop, we coach them hard, we win ball games by film study and giving a different look from one outing to the next. It's wonderful.
Right.
Thank the Lord for it. But Brett, I love where Alex Golesh is going with this thing, and I'm hopeful we got the right guy now. He feels like the right guy.
Well, it does. Like, look, I know every time you get somebody new, and every time there's a new era, it's a fresh start, and everybody's like, we got our guy. We got to. And look, I know it's easy to say that, but I think what you just said and what I'm saying and is I'm genuine about it. Like, look, was I excited when Auburn hired Hugh Freeze? Yeah, new guy. I mean, when Auburn hired Gus Malzahn, yeah. I mean, you're going to get behind whoever the coach is, right? We were shocked by Brian Harsin. I don't think anybody knew what to do because it was literally a coaching search where a name never popped up in anybody's conversation, any beat writer, nobody wrote about it. It was a complete and total, like,
I didn't know who he was.
There's never been a bigger example of something out of left field than that. And so we were like, well, dang, Alan Green must be the smart man. This guy really got it, man. He's gone out and found the next up and comer. And then you start digging around and see his past. You go, okay, you know, and then you found out at the end of the day that he just cashed a massive check. He didn't really give a rat's rear end that what the result was. He knew he wasn't going to be here long term. I think his family hated being down here, which in turn made him miserable. So he was probably trying to figure out the quickest exit. Now that I think about it and talk about it, he was probably trying to figure out how the hell can I keep my paycheck and get the hell out of here at the same time. And there it is. And that's what he did. He said, I just won't go see anybody. I won't go talk to anybody, and we'll just let the whole program collapse. But you're not getting that in Alex Golesh, and there's a lot of different reasons why. And again, this is a sample size. I'm going to go through multiple other quotes and stuff throughout the rest of the show with that, Randy. But I wanted to get your take on that this morning since you were with us here to begin with, because I think out of everything he talked about, this culture quote about the locker room and how important it is to him for the guys that chose to stay at Auburn and the guys he brought in, whether it were be from South Florida that know him and know that staff, and they're able to come in and build that continuity, mesh as quickly as possible as they head into spring, because that's going to determine you can go out and coach somebody's rear end off and you can do all kind of things. But if that locker room doesn't gel, you ain't got a team. And we see it in basketball. We see it in football. everybody's kind of got to be on the same page. It don't mean you got to get along all the time, because you got a bunch of people in that room and everybody's not going to agree all the time.
Amen.
But you got to always go in there going, well, that's my brother. You know, I'm going to defend him. I'm going to go out and fight for him. We may fight each other in practice, but we're fighting each other because we want to get better. And I remember those days when I was working at Auburn and I was on the practice field as a media relations student, and I would watch the intensity between Fred Beasley and Takeo Spikes and some of those guys. And I could see how passionate they were, and they wanted to kill each other in practice. And we were like, man, can y'all not kill each other? So we got to have you Saturday, you know. But then when practice was over, they were putting their arms around each other and they were making each other better, man. That's what Auburn's got to do. That's what Alex Golesh, I think, and this staff, that's what they're going to do here, and that's where you're going to see the difference.
Well, let me give one final take. I see Faith coming in, but Alabama Football Coaches Association, here's another example yesterday. They had their convention yesterday. Golesh goes and the entire staff goes. Why? He got an opportunity in one room to meet all the coaches in the state. Why wouldn't you go?
Right.
Like, are you kidding? That's exactly where you need to be yesterday. And Brett and I know a lot of these people that are there. So I'm going to give one example. You never know who you meet and talk to, how networked they are in. They may not look like it. They may not act like it. But I'm going to give an example of a very good friend of mine and Brett's is Stacy Mills over at Prattville. Stacy knows everybody really in this state that's in the media on the high school side. Why? Well, he's been our producer for a very long time, but he's just one of those guys that's always out there because he loves high school sports probably more than anyone. And Golesh makes a point with Stacy, with his son, to meet and do some things that you just have. He doesn't know Stacy. He doesn't know these guys. But Brett, a lot goes into, I'll give one final take on that. The previous coach we just talked about, you can watch the way that they interact with people that they don't know. And the moment that I completely lost respect, and I'll say it for Hugh Freeze, was an interaction that we had with him at Willow Point Country Club. And his unwillingness to do what he said he was going to do, and then to pretty much give you a middle finger when he rode by you. And it wasn't me, because it's stuff like that really doesn't bother me and Brett. I don't know. For those of us, I mean, we kind of emotionally are combative anyway. And to me, I actually kind of smile when people treat me like that. I mean, it almost gets my competitive spirit up a little more, because I don't know him, he don't know me, and I care less about him, and he can clearly care less about me the way that he's treating me right now. But we had a coworker with us there that day that he mistreated so poorly that I'll never respect him for it. And you know it. Once I'm off your bus, buddy, I run off of it, and I ain't getting back on it. I may act like I like you in public, but I'm done with you. So I just wanted to bring that up about Golesh, that when you make your first opportunity to make an impression is very, very important. And his impression that he's making around this state is impressive right now. And it's needed, Brett, because a lot of these key kids that are going to get us to the next level, we hope, in the next 4 or 5 years, are ones that he's got to have a relationship with, whether it be their coach, whether it be a media personality on the high school end like us. It's important how you build all of those things. And so I wanted to throw that in, that all those little brief moments that you think may not add up, they do. They add up. They're important to a lot of people out there. So I'll step aside, let y'all knock around on this. One quick thing, though, that I want to throw out there: on Saturday mornings, Brett and I do a show from 7 to 9. Make sure to tune in on that. It is a television show, so it's a little bit different than what you're seeing on the podcast right here. But that 7 to 9 show, we bounce all over. And, Brett, there's a ton of conversation that's going on with public and private. I know that private schools have a big meeting today, so I'm sure we'll talk at length about that tomorrow.
We'll have plenty to talk about.
I'll tune in. Thank y'all.
Hi, Randy.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, and glad that you jumped. We had a busy day yesterday. Good Lord. From early morning all the way, but we appreciate everybody that tuned us in yesterday. And Faith, we couldn't do it without our partners here. So while you pop in, let's hit a few of our partners, and we always start with Sensory.
For air that's warm and clean, call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama, proud supporters of Auburn athletics and a proud supporter of Auburn Blitz. With the weather going back and forth, you want to have a reliable unit, and a carrier unit is going to be the most reliable. So for anything that you need, call on Sensagreen. They are going to make sure to save you thousands of dollars and keep you warm this cold winter.
Yeah, right. Like right now, terrible. Scout program management. Love talking about scout program management because I know what they do. I've seen what they do. We talked to them yesterday, Faith. I don't know if you can find better people. And if you have a massive construction project going on, scout program management is who you need to hire. Scoutpm.com is where you can find them. Don't just take our word for it. Go out and look at all the projects. We were at a school yesterday that they're heading up in Gunnersville. So they're everywhere. And if you have any sense about you, you pick them because they're going to take you and they're going to hold the contractors accountable from the pre-construction phase to the finished product. Check out Scout Program Management as your program management company for your next project.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. Brett, talk about the amount of people they had last night line dancing. Oh my goodness.
I sent that to you last night. I pulled that up on Facebook. I'm like, I don't know that you could have gotten anybody. They had to have been at capacity.
There's no question. It was absolutely amazing how many people were there. Looked like they were having so much fun. Line dancing. If I could have gone, I would have most definitely been there.
I mean, you and everybody else. I mean, that they have. You and I have talked about that for the last month. How much Bunkers has grown, and how now they're not a hidden jewel anymore. They are known, and if you don't get there early on the weekends, you ain't getting in. And so we love it. We found it. We discovered it before everybody else did, and we're proud to be, I guess, charter members of Bunkers. So I guess I'll say that. But I'm glad everybody's finding Bunkers now. So y'all go check it out. Face right. Couldn't ask for better. I mean, it was just amazing. What a crowd there was last night for Now you don't want me out there doing that.
I don't know how to dance, but I would have loved to be out there trying.
Probably trip and fall. Maybe we can get some lessons. Maybe we could do I don't know if anybody could have heard us in there. Like that place was rocking.
It was awesome.
So it was awesome. So check that out. Check them out online. Check them out on social media. Again, they were having a blast. I was kind of jealous a little bit, but you and I were I was kind of glad to be home after the road trip that we took yesterday. It was a great day, but it was just a lot. So
I'm glad you and the companion made it home safe.
Yes, absolutely. It was iffy there for a while, a couple times. All right. So Alex Golesh was talking about a lot of things. I want to lead right into why we feel like changing personality and mindset's different.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fiery guy. You either have that kind of personality or you don't. But I'm going to take it another step further. Auburn has hired a guy coming from a group of 5 out of Power 4 coach. Now, he's got experience in Power 4. Obviously, he's been at Tennessee and other schools. We've been through all that. But he's gone down to South Florida. He turned their program around. South Florida had turned into a dump, and he turned it around, and he was able to go and do the things he needed to do. And now he has a Power 4 job, and you and I were at the press conference when he was announced, and you could look at him and see how appreciative he is of the opportunity to come in and be Auburn's head football coach. I'm not saying that some of the other guys that Auburn's hired hasn't been that way, because I truly feel like they were appreciative to a degree. This guy has something to prove still. This guy is hungry. This is the first time in forever Auburn's hired a guy, maybe going back to Terry Bowden coming out of Sanford, and bringing him in and saying, okay, here's you a big boy job. What can you do with it? This guy's going to work his rear end off to prove that he belongs here and that he is appreciative. That's the difference, Faith, to me, in him and maybe even Gus Malzahn. And I know Gus Malzahn came from Arkansas State and all this kind of stuff, but he had been at Auburn and he left and he came back. And then, Brian Harsin was a terrible experiment. And then Hugh Freeze, I hate to say this, but Hugh Freeze was just kind of dead weight, it felt like, because he'd been coaching. Everybody thought he was going to get this rejuvenation, getting another opportunity to come to the SEC, and it just felt like lack of energy. He said the right things, but you and I saw the lack of passion from him, and it kind of bled into the team. I just think this is what's going to be different about Alex Golesh. That's just my opinion.
The same way he sets the standard for the athletes of working their way up and that they aren't deserving of this. They are being given an opportunity to prove themselves. He is in that same exact mindset. And that's what I really like about him, is that he's not expecting something from his athletes that he cannot do himself. And I love the fire that he has inside of him. I love the sassiness that he's given. And I think that is what you need in a head coach that really wants to go far and really has some goals and striving to do better. And that is, to me, a personality trait that you cannot turn it. Like, you can't put that in somebody. They are just born with that. They have that energy. And I love that about him.
Don't you want your coach to be a little bit cocky? I mean, you don't want him to be so over the top. Everybody's like, he is.
You don't want arrogance from a coach
you don't want
to the point where you cannot communicate with them as a peasant, or, sometimes the cocky, arrogant coaches that make the media feel like they are peasants and below them.
Yes.
That is not what you want as a head coach. He does not give that by any means. What he does is he wants to interact with you. He wants to have those conversations. He wants to make that joke with you, not at you. And I like that.
Man, I think you just nailed that. I really do. That was well said. There is a difference in an arrogant a-hole and then a guy that's a little edgy and expects to be a winner and shows appreciation, that it's not like you're burdening them to come ask him a question or talk to him. He's going to talk to you, but he may give you the blunt answer that you're thinking. He may actually say it. He's not going to be PC about it. But at the end of the conversation, you can go, hey, man, I like that guy. That's who I want as my coach. You read off a couple of threads yesterday when we were in the car driving on some of these quotes of his, and people were commenting, and they're going, man, we ain't had this at Auburn in a long time. I like this. Is this our coach? Pinch me, please. Wake me up if it's not.
There's a difference between the way Lane Kiffin thought that he was being funny with the reporters and the way that Alex Golesh is doing it. And I think that's because Alex Golesh doesn't have that mentality that these reporters, AKA you and I, Brett, that we are these peasants beneath him.
Right. And the thing about Lane Kiffin and maybe some of these other guys are just so that they're disingenuous with their comment, and that it's a condescending comment. I don't take that. I know Golesh is not that. You can tell. I mean, you'll be not. Is he going to be in a good mood all the time? Probably not. And I don't know many.
It is probably going to be scary when he's not in a good mood, and we have to go and talk to him after a bad game or maybe a practice that just was not great. He's probably going to be scary, and you're probably not going to want to have a big, long conversation with him.
But
that's
you
how you know the team's going to get better.
Right. I told you the other day, you want a guy that's walking down the hall in the complex that you go, do I need to say anything to him? Like, you need to be a little bit nervous around the guy, because he may snap, not just at you, but he may not be happy with the way things are going, or he's just in such control of the building that he is the boss. He's the boss. You give him that respect. I'm not Nick Saban. That's exactly what happened in Alabama. There was no question who the boss was in that building, and people respected that. And I think, just being honest, I don't know that Auburn's had that in a while.
You saw the way when Nick Saban left and Kalen DeBoer came in, not even just in the recruiting classes that Kalen DeBoer was bringing in, but also just the guys on the team, how they reacted on the sidelines, and how they off the field, you never really heard a lot of bad things going on off the field at Alabama when Nick Saban was the head coach. There rarely were times where you heard that. And now you hear more things happening off the field. You see body language and attitude problems.
It's definitely different.
That is a huge indicator of who the boss is. And you saw who the strong boss that everybody respected and Nick Saban. And I'm not saying they don't respect Kalen DeBoer, but there is a huge drop off.
Matt, yeah, there's no doubt. I don't know that whoever they would have hired, it wouldn't have been a huge drop off. But
Yeah.
it was definitely it was obvious. No question about it. Okay, college football evolving so quickly. Golesh was asked about, what it's like to go in and call somebody on another team. and this is his take, and I've seen some people have a mixed reaction on this. He said with every ruling or lack of ruling, you can either do one of two things. He said you can sit and complain about it, which a lot of coaches do. He said, but I look at it like this. Where's the loophole? Who is out there that we can go get that can help us be better? And, I think, again, an honest, open answer, not some PC, well, I'll never do that, and I wouldn't pick the phone up and call. Like, he's explaining to everybody that there are no rules right now. And there's a problem with this, and there needs to be guardrails. And he said the problem is we all want guardrails, but we don't have any. So he's basically saying what you and I said last summer when John Cohen said what he said, when we were like, it's not going to work out that way. If there aren't anything, if there's nothing out there to kind of restrict you from doing things, and you have to live in this world, and this is your business, and this is your life, and you are the success of your career is based on how many wins that you attain. What do you got to do? You got to go get the best players. You got to go get the things that you feel like are best for your program. Why would you not operate that way if everybody else is operating that way? And again, he said you got to do what you feel like is right morally and ethically within yourself. But I think he had a great, honest, open answer about that.
I think his answer was really great. And I think the way that he answered it, honestly, and the fact of saying that, the football gods are going to be able to come and find you or whatever, not saying also.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Faith. Maybe we'll get her back here in just a second. She's a little frozen right now. But going back to what she was saying, like the tampering part, and he kind of added to, hey, it's all relative.
That
there we go. Getting you back now.
Summer that Brett, you were just talking about. Could you hear me that whole time?
No, you were completely frozen on here.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you go. I'm just glad to have you back. So
yeah.
I'll let you continue now.
Okay. Well, what I was saying is that I like hearing the honest part of the whole thing and not sitting back waiting for the ruling to come out before going out and doing whatever it might be. Because if everybody's doing it, like everyone says, I appreciate the honesty saying that do what you think is ethical and morally right, because it's going to bite you in the rear end, whatever you do, because whether it's that 4th and 1 or whether or not you don't get any guys out of the portal that you want because everybody's going attacking at the same time.
No, I agree. I think one thing that you're learning from him and just what you've seen in brief, I mean, because again, like I said, to start the show, he hadn't been here very long. So we've only had very limited amounts of time to to talk to him or hear quotes from him. So that's why it was very good that some of the media were able to catch up with him down at the Senior Bowl. And we divide and conquer, right? Everybody can't be at the basketball games. Everybody can't be at the Senior Bowl. Everybody can't be at these events. So, you piggyback off of, what everybody was able to go down there and report from him. And, I think those were two of the biggest takes that came out of this whole thing is that his reaction. I think somebody asked him about the Charles Bediako thing and how he said, look, would you believe me if I said I hadn't really been following that? But he was talking about that, and it kind of led into all this. And the craziness of the rulings, and
because there's no restrictions or guidelines anywhere of what you can and can't do. It doesn't matter about what sport it is. It doesn't matter about any sort of question that you might have. There is no answer to it, and you kind of are at a free for all at this point.
Yeah, everything to sum up his 12 to 13 minute, little conversation with the media down at the Senior Bowl really is what you just said. You can ask me about tampering. You can ask me about what I think about giving guys that have gone pro an ability to come back. Well, we see that in college football, all this stuff. The whole bottom line of all this is that how about freaking have some rules and follow them? Like, I think everybody's like, yeah, just tell us what the rules are. Quit moving the goalpost on everything. Quit leaving everything so open-ended, because it's hypocritical out there for anybody right now to point a finger at anybody else for being for tampering, because I don't even know what tampering is right now. We know it's kind of one of those things like defining a term, and some people go, well, what does that term really mean? And you go, well, you can't really write it down on paper to tell you what it is, but when you see it, you know what it is. When you hear it, you know what it is. That's what tampering is right now. You can write down what tampering is. It could be this vast, huge, long definition. And everybody goes, well, I don't really agree with that. I don't really do it. But moralistically and ethically, if you see somebody tampering, you go, okay, that's tampering. That's not doing the right thing. And I think that's what he's trying to say, is that everybody's doing something, because this is a business that, again, your success is determined on how many W's you put in that column. And if you don't stay around very long. That's just the bottom line. So operate within the parameters that you feel like you need to set for you and your program, but don't come up and point a finger. Now, again, we've heard the Dabo and the Ole Miss story and all this kind of stuff. We've seen the Mensa and Miami stuff with Duke. We saw the Washington stuff. We're getting all kind of sample sizes of what tampering looks like. Can you blame those schools for doing what they're doing if there's nothing in place to stop them from doing it? I'm not saying – we're not saying we agree with it. We're not saying we like it.
But again, if you're not first, you're last. If you're not doing it, you're behind. I don't know what the right answer is, and I hate it. It stinks, but
Nelly said it best: 2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers, and everybody on down the line from that. And when that's all you're really that's the barometer in which you're judging people on, is wins and losses, period, end of discussion. There's a lot of people going, hey, man, they may not like how I did it, but I'm at the top. And that's what this is all about. And I hate to say that way, but until somebody, some organization, something comes up, like Alex Golesh said, with guardrails that everybody can follow. Now, if you set a rule and everybody signs off on that rule and you go break that rule,
then there's a problem.
There's a problem. Okay? Because everybody
there's no rules right now.
That's right. Everybody's come to the table and said, okay, we all agree to operate within this. Right now, there is nothing like that. So everybody goes, well, you can't do that. And the next guy comes up and goes, who says? Why can't I do it?
The whole problem with the Charles Bediako situation that everybody, is having is that the conversation about not letting European pros come to college in the United States, and that is where this whole thing kind of got brought up in all of this. And there's no rule, though, that says it's not allowed yet. It's been brought up that it shouldn't be allowed. And then this is the first we've obviously seen of somebody in the United States, go and then go play in the G League and whatever and come back. Obviously, we know it's wrong. Everyone sees that it's not okay. But because there's no rule in place, who's supposed to know that that's wrong?
That's right. It's gotta be set that it's wrong before you can say it. You can feel like it is, But until there's something
Your feelings don't matter anymore. No one cares
matter.
about feelings.
I totally agree. Everybody's numb to it. I think that's why they're like, you know what? I don't really care what everybody else says. I'm going to go do this because there's nothing saying I can't do it. And they can go do it themselves if they want to or not. We'll just keep doing it the way we do it. And they can sit over there, cry and complain about it. That's right. It. I like it as far as from that mentality. Until something's set, don't point a finger at somebody else for trying to do it. Look, I don't like that Charles Bediako came back and is playing for Alabama. And
no one does.
It's helped their team and stuff. And, you know, as you keep rolling down the line, you know, however many more games he's going to be able to play. Now, it's kind of become a joke. Like, all right, they've extended another 10 days. You know, how much longer is he going to stay on the team? You know, I think he'll play the rest of the year, all the way to whenever Alabama's last game is in the tournament or whatever. So, but it's out there now for everybody else to try until somebody comes in and stops it. So that's how you deal with it. All right, let's talk about some more of our partners here. We got great partners here, and I'll start with the Cart Source, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore. We will be there. We have the date now, February 18th on a Wednesday. We'll be at the Cart Source, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore. Easy Go Cushman Yamaha Club Car. Faith's hoping the weather's really good so she can get it behind the wheel. We actually may have some video footage of that when we get down there. So of her driving. Let's just show everybody how reckless, like how fast you're driving these golf carts. Okay. So anyway, come check them out. We'd love for you to come down there on the 18th. I know that Harrison would love to see you. They've got a full array of the best in the business. Easy Go Cushman, Yamaha Club Car, whatever it is that you're looking for, they've got it. Go check them out right there on Highway 280.
Oliver Ross for all of your holiday parties, Valentine's, spring weddings, whatever. They are going to be your bartending service, whether or not it's 20 people or 20,000. You want professional licensed bartenders that are going to take care of you and your guest, and that you can continue hosting whatever event that you might be having. So call on Oliver Ross. They are going to come in there, set all their stuff up, break it all down when they're done, and not leave a trace behind. You guys just get to have a good time. So call on Oliver Ross for all of your bartending needs.
We've been to events that Oliver Ross handled the bartending needs. They do. Man, they're just so great. I mean, why wouldn't you hire them? Russell Medical Center, one of the top 3 hospitals in the state of Alabama. And when it comes to your medical needs, your health of you and your family, there's nothing more important in the world. They're partnered with UAB Health. They've got great doctors. They got great facilities. I don't know what else you want. And they're in a small town, and it's easy access. You don't have the hassle of trying to fight big city traffic and the in and out and all that stuff. Just feels like you're at home. And that's what you want when you're having to deal with health issues and healthcare stuff. So make sure you check out Russell Medical Center in Alexander City. We will also be out there in a couple of weeks. We'll be there February the 11th. So we've got, again, we love going to our partners. We love being part of what they do. We want to be on site, and they're another one that we're proud to have on with us. Appreciate them so very much. And then Alex City Marine, when it warms up, not right now. I talked to Steven yesterday. We ain't coming out there right now, but you need to go over there and get a good deal on a boat, because right now is the time to go get a good deal on a boat. And it's 25 degrees. Yeah, you're probably not getting out on the lake right now, but you need to go see Alex City Marine for the best in the business. Great center console and pontoon options for you, powered by Suzuki, Mercury, and Honda. The best in the business. You need to go check it out. Man, every time I pull that up, I'm like, I'm just going to go do it. And then
I know, I was trying to get you to go ahead and pull the trigger.
I know you were really putting the pressure on yesterday. So, but anyway, we will be on location today at Lake Martin Pizza.
Really excited to go and have some good pizza. Everyone, make sure you come out. The first 5 people are going to get pizza on us, a lunch deal. It's 2 slices, very large slices. It's going to be 1 for lunch and 1 for dinner for me. I can tell you that.
Always look forward to it. And it literally is. And I know everybody goes, well, you're going to say this because they're partnered with you. No, it literally is the best pizza. I've officially said, I've been to a lot of places. I've been to New York. I've been to Chicago. And, the Chicago's a little bit different. It's just the deep dish, and it's just a different deal. But when you look at thin crust pizza like this, the way they cook it, there's nobody out there that does it better. I'm just telling you.
Right.
So Lake Martin Pizza on the Dable location is where we will be.
Yes.
On Highway 49. Come see us. Look, you don't have to worry about getting cold. They've got the plastic up. They've got everything. They'll have the heaters. And you and I are fine with that. We're going to be just comfortable right in there. So
I'm excited.
Yep. So come check us out down in Dayville, Lake Martin Pizza at noon for our noon show. We're excited about it always. And I'll continue to tease February 2nd, Monday, February 2nd. Got a big announcement coming for us. We're excited about it. I think they're very excited about it. So we're going to unveil a big, massive partner joining our team here on February 2nd. And we're excited.
We know you guys know who they are.
Oh, there's no question. No doubt about it. And very appreciative of them and them finding us and us finding them and forging this partnership moving forward along with all of our other partners. All right, Faith, do you have anything else this morning?
We'll see you guys at lunch.
We will see you here in just a few hours. In about 3 hours, we'll be back with you for a lot of this and other things on the Auburn Blitz.
So have the best day ever, best weekend ever.
That's absolutely
Be
right.
safe. Stay warm.
Yes, and it's going to be even colder this weekend than it was this
Tomorrow's
somehow.
Freezing.
So make sure you take care of everything you got to take care of today. All right, we'll see you at lunch at Lake Martin Pizza. Have a great day, everybody.